All right, I'm with you today to talk about Wizards of the Coast, latest cash grab eroni. I have a little bit of disdain for the Secret Lair series. I know they are great for players, and I love that about the series. But the thing that I don't like is that Wizards of the Coast selling singles directly to consumers always digs into those inventories. They dig into those who have collections where there's value, right? So if you had shocklands in your collection or shocklands in your value in your inventory, some of that value is now gone because Wizards of the Coast wanted to sell that stuff directly and just get the money direct from consumers. So they had to reach into your equity. They had to reach into your collection equity, into my inventory equity to make this happen. Okay, enough about that. Let's take a look at the secret lairs. What do we got? Okay, we have 5 lairs. Okay, each of them a shard, and they each come with 3 shocklands. We got the Jund one with a Blood Crypt, an Overgrown Tomb, and a Stomping Ground. And I calculated the TCG low value of each of those shocklands to be 41.29. And that is weighed against the price of each of these secret lairs, which for the land ones, they're $29.99 and they are non-foil. So it looks like, as a player, if you wanted to buy one of each of these lands, it would cost you $41 on TCG Player. But if you buy them from Wizards, it's $29.99. So it sounds like a good deal for a player. For an investor, not so much, because you would have to sell those lands. So you'd have to pay fees on the platform that you sell on. You have to pay shipping to get them and to sell them. And it just doesn't seem like there's enough margin, not enough meat on the bone for an investor. But for a player, seems like a good buy. Let's look at the Esper one. We got Hallowed Fountain, Godless Shrine, and Watery Grave. Those weigh in at 41.78. So another decent buy for a player. Again, $29.99 for this one. And much of the same as we go down the list: Naya, Temple Garden, Sacred Foundry, and a Stomping Ground. One of the lower ones here, 34.02. But again, not a bad deal for a player. Bant, Hallowed Fountain, Breeding Pool, Temple Garden, 39.38. And I think like a lot of these are the same story. For a player, they're a decent value. There's going to be some push and pull. So like as these ones come out, since you can buy them for $29.99 from Wizards, it's kind of like the $39.38 price will probably come down a little bit because, they have to kind of meet each other at that place. So we got that. We'll finish up here with Grixis, Blood Crypt, Steam Vents, and Watery Grave, 41.78. And we'll talk a little bit more about these as we get to the bundles. Let's see what other secret lairs they have in store for us. All right, Strixhaven Showcase. So they've taken the Strixhaven Showcase border treatment and they've put it on a bunch of cards. Now, we got in the list Fire Covenant, Fractured Identity, Fracturing Gust, All Is Dust, Artifact Mutation, and Drown in the Loch. Very cool treatment, really neat artwork. But the price of each of these cards, TCG low, is $26.81. So that's below the $29.99 that they're asking for this secret lair. Really, the only reason you would want this version is if you like the treatments, right? If you just need the cards, you could probably get them cheaper on TCG Player. You can, literally, you can. So the interesting thing happens when we go to the foil. Now, the foil version is something I'm super interested in. Looking at the foils here, mainly this price is carried by Artifact Mutation. Only foiled once in Invasion, was like a $50 foil. And so you have that. The other interesting thing is there's 2 cards here that were never foiled: Fire Covenant and Fractured Identity. So first time foiling for both of those. And you have the Artifact Mutation, which is really expensive. The foil at $39.99 for this bundle seems like a home run for anybody who's going to play these cards. Right now, pulling in 101.06 in value, and that's just counting the Fire Covenant and the Fractured Identity at the non-foil price. So, that seems like a good deal. It's $39.99. So I think that's even like something to be considered for investors, people who want to invest and make some money on this. I could see the Fire Covenant being a CEDH staple. I could see that going up in price as a foil, right? And so it's an interesting thing, and I think there's some money to be made here. Also for collectors or people who just want to have them in their commander collection, definitely a good buy. Let's take a look at this one. Our show is on Friday. Can you make it? Super long name. Again, and one of those $29.99 and $30.15. It's just about which treatment you like better. Do you like these treatments or do you like the originals? The originals are, same price pretty much. $29.99 from Wizards, $30.15 from TCG Player, TCG Player Low. It just depends on what you like. I think some people have been really interested in these designs. One of these designs I am really not a big fan of, and I know those of you who know me probably know which design it is. I'm just like, I could definitely just do without that completely. But I won't go on a soapbox about it because there are many people who like the designs and who really enjoy them. And so this is just basically a coin toss, which one you like. As far as it is, of course, for investors, one of the questions is it a good buy because it will be popular? I think this will be popular, like the Party Hard, Shred Harder. And so will people want it in the future? Maybe. So it might be a long-term thing for investors, but as it stands right now, it doesn't seem to be attractive in the sense that A, the card's already cheaper than the Lair or as cheap as the Lair. B, there's going to be a lot of supply because it's going to sell really well. All right, let's go on. Full text lands. This is the big wild card of the set. What the heck? I don't like them. I don't want to be a party pooper. They're not compelling to me, but some people are really about them. And so I think that dichotomy, I think that kind of, I don't want to call it controversy, but that the split, having the community split on them is a good thing for investors, because when they sell less of these secret lairs, then that means the supply is lower. And for, those who are looking for demand, especially for basic lands where you're going to have a number of them that you're going to want in your deck. It's one of those things that as an investor, it looks good to me. It looks like because they're going to sell so little, and not small amounts, but enough to make it this is a good thing. Now the bundle might offset that. We'll talk about the bundle when we get there. Let's cruise on a little bit. We got the foil version as well, where the watermark is standing out a little bit more. I think the regular one has the watermark, but the foil one really shows it off. So again, same questions with the regular one. The only additional question is, will the foils bow? Right? If they don't bow, then these foils are superior to the regular ones, in my opinion. But we don't know. Do they pringle? We don't know. All right, let's talk about the bundles. Main event seems to be a super good value, even for those investors who are looking for some meat on the bone. This value is calculated without the land ones, because I didn't know what value to put on the lands. I could say they're worth 0. Who knows? I don't think they're worth 0, but I calculate them at 0 because basic lands are worth 0. And so even without those lands, we're looking at a value of $344.45 if you were to buy each of these cards on TCG Player Low, where you're paying $260 for them. Seems like a pretty easy buy for those who have the money. And you could keep some of the cards that you want, sell some of the ones you don't want, and work out pretty good. Super Shock, we got the Shock lands. We have a lot of that value still here. Looks like about $60 value difference. You're paying $120, but you're getting $186.43 in cards. It seems like the great thing to do would be to purchase these, sell. There's going to be 5 extras or 5 duplicates. Sell the 5 duplicates for $40, and then get your set of Shocklands for Commander at $80 a pop for the set rather. So I think this is good for players. Maybe some investors want to go in there and get some of those. It's really really a question of where the shocks end up. They will always go back up, but we're going to see some coming down of the shock lands because of this secret lair. So depends on how much time you have. Voracious Reader. Finally, Wizards has done something I think smart with these basic lands, where they give you an option to buy 10 of each of them. This one, the regular, non-foil copies, you get 10 of each for $239, $240, about $5 a land. And then for the foils, it's $320, about $6.50 for the lands. And I really don't know what to make of this secret lair. There's talk about Alexander Clamilton and, the commander deck that is Alexander Clamilton, and will that drive prices? It's not really legal, but people will build it. So there's some talk about the islands and the mountains being worth more. I don't know. Let's talk more about it in the chat. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on these lands. I'm kind of not sure where to land on them. I think they're going to be a good investment because they're going to sell not as well as the other ones, and there will be that corner case for people who find them interesting. So I hope you like this video. We're going to jump back in to opening some packs. Let's go.